Hi everybody, it's me Maria with Nail Nation on Facebook and Nail Nation 3000 here on YouTube. By request, I'm going to do a series of videos that depicts this winter wonderland holiday themed nail design. And also because there's a lot of detail involved in these nails, I'm going to do them for you on a larger tip because, as you can see, this is much larger than any of my nails. This way, those of you who are viewing on mobile or just really need to be able to see the image really clearly in order to copy it, I wanted to make it a little easier for everybody. So I'm going to show you right now everything that we used in the intro. And I'll make it really quick, but that way you don't have to reference the other videos to find the information. And then very quickly before each nail, I'll tell you what we used. You're going to need a series of brushes or painting tools. If you have one brush that you're able to kind of do everything with, then by all means I would, use that brush. But I like to use a series of brushes. So these are just natural Kolinsky hair brushes that I use with the polish. I recommend for everyone OPI brush cleaner if you have access to it. If not, whatever your favorite artificial nail and enhancement brush cleaner. And I also recommend that you get a large bottle and only keep a little bit in the small bottle because it gets kind of gross and you want to empty that out. For the red, that I used in the Sleigh, I used Zoya and the name is Isla. Kind of like I'm Not Really a Waitress by OPI. It's a little bit brighter, but anything in this family is really good for that. My background on all 5 nails is Berry M CN Blue. You're going to need something in a royal metallic blue like this, this is Trippy Hippie by Color Club. My black, I just used Blackout by Extreme Wear by Sally Hansen and White On. And this is one of my favorites here. This is the new Sugar Plum Fairy by Color Club. So anything that's kind of in this type of glitter. And then, of course, with the snow highlighting, I used Lorelei's Tiara, which this is the new Eye Candy. And just some really true gold striping. This is for the striping. A dotting tool or a toothpick. Something with a fine end is preferred. A palette for your sponging and detail work. And for this sponging, I used this type of sponge. If you can see the texture, it's not the sponges you use for makeup. This is kind of like a really cheap kitchen sponge. And I used 3 plates for a couple of snowflakes and for a base on the candy cane. I used Conad M5 for these little guys here. I used Conad M12 just for the base of the candy cane here, and I added the white. And then I used Conad M59 for the large snowflake. So we're all done with that for the intro of what we're using. And if you're going to use a brighter red for your detail on your candy cane and for your snowman, I recommend Expressionist Red by Finger Paints. And just a little dollop of any kind of bright orange and yellow for your trees. Or any colors you want to use for your tree is fine. So we're going to do bright orange and yellow for your trees. Or any colors you want to use for your tree is fine. So we're going to do the thumb first. And the first step is to take just a little bit of white and put it on your palette. And then you're going to take also a small amount of your metallic blue here that we need. And that's really just to create an icy effect on the snow. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a snow slope like this one. So you're going to take your sponge and you're going to dollop a little bit of white on there. And you're going to go from a higher point from the inside of your thumb down in a sloping motion like this. And you want the stippling. I know most people when you're sponging you're trying to blend, but we're trying to create a snowy effect. And then you just take a little more white and kind of fill in some spots so that it looks like some places are a little thicker. We're going to need a small drop of white again. So then you're going to take just a tiny bit of blue over the sponge where the white already was. And you're going to follow this just pattern that you've created here. And you want it to look like lumps in a hill. So you don't want it to be, you know, too perfect. And then you just take a little bit of white and you layer it back over. And this is going to give you a really pretty snowy effect. And you can have a few little dry bits of snow, you know, splashing up. So that way it'll look like your sleigh hit it. Now, for the sleigh, it's actually super easy. You're going to take a nice little amount of our red here. And if you take a good look here at the sleigh, you can see it's a pretty simple line. And the way I did this, I'm going to show you on the paper first. I created the sleigh by taking the polish and creating a loop like this on the nail. Now I'm doing this way so that you can actually see the lines that we're going to be creating the sleigh on the nail with, because it's so much easier to see it large. And I just kind of carried it over in a straight line here and then looped it back over just like this. So it's going to look like that, only much smaller. Then we know what our pattern will look like. You're going to take your brush, and it needs to be a brush that's comfortable for the size of your nail. And almost at the same pattern as your snow is going in, you're going to make this design here. So we're going to take the little loop, and then we're going to bring it back over like this. And then we're just going to bring it up and curl it back over. It's not going to look really perfect or pretty when you first do it. That's okay. You're going to fix all of that with your details. And it's just going to look something like this here. It's very much the same as this, and it's not, you know, again, it's not going to be perfect. You're going to put details in there. Just make sure that your exterior lines are clean and thick and not, you know, spread out where it looks smeared, because that's the only part that's really going to matter much is your edges. So then we're going to create the little sleigh feet right here. And they look just like skis. So if any of you are familiar with what snow skis look like, or even ice skates, it looks the same. And I'm going to show you here on the paper again. You're going to have one line here, and then you're going to do a shorter line, just a slightly shorter line like this next to it. And then your front-facing ski is going to go up like this. And then you're not even really going to create the second ski all the way. You're just going to kind of create as much of a line as you can and sort of show that front piece. It doesn't have to be really the whole ski. So it's going to look just like this on the nail. It's going to look just like, and of course, right now we're doing this one much larger than we normally do. But this is, again, just so you can see. For those of you working with poly paints, I recommend that you use your snow being with polish and not with the white paint, because when you go back to erase something, you're going to erase your snow too. What you're going to do is you're going to go in and you're just going to add 3 little dots around your sleigh. And that's super, super easy. It's going to be in little marks of 3 like this. And they don't need to always line up or be perfect or the same size, because it's supposed to give kind of the illusion of snow. So this doesn't have to actually be really perfect. There's really no special way. It's just some dots in little triangles. And guys, we're almost actually there. This is actually almost complete. It's a super, super easy design. And what I want you to do before you do your detail work on your sleigh is to take your glitters, which ones you're using. And for this was the eye candy. And I didn't actually glitter the whole space. I just took a little bit and kind of put it on the corner and dragged it around, and then I used my sponge here to move it around. And you want to do that before you detail your sleigh in case you accidentally cover anything on your sleigh. You can just fix the red or black. And then I made it a little heavier here. And the reason we want to do that is because it kind of gives the effect of shining snow or ice. And now we're just going to take a small amount of gold, and I just want you to see that the gold is actually a true gold even outside of the bottle. And you're going to take a tiny, tiny amount of white, and some of you may skip the white depending on how small your nails are. What I did was I followed the front line of my sleigh, and a lot of this will get covered, but I just like the effect of it being behind it. And then I just gave it a few little lines of detail there. And then all you're going to do after that is you're going to take a little bit of gold, and if you're using a striper and you're comfortable with it, you can do it with your striper. Some of you may do this with a toothpick or your brush. Is you're going to take your gold, and then without totally covering your white, you're going to follow that same line that you did with your white. And then I added an extra line behind it just for a little bit of detail. And then I took my dotting tool and just added 4 or 5 really small dots of gold kind of mixed with white there, just to give the illusion of rivets in the sides. And some of you may really like the look of an extremely pristine blade on your sleigh. So you can always go back and freshen up your lines because your snow and your glitter may have covered that up. And you can even mix a small amount of white with the black to create a little bit of gray, so that you can just show your lines off. And then I just took a small amount of red and just create a little dot there. So this is the first one, which is this nail here. And as you can see, it's really actually very, very easy. So this is nail 1. Hopefully you'll join me for nail 2, which will be our cute little snowman. And then you just coat with 2 cup coats of a very good top coat. I like to do sèche-vide. So I'll show you a picture of this at the end of the video. Now we're going to go on to our snowman. Thank you.